Hey guys, welcome to Jimmy Rig this week. We're going to be making some cornhole boards. Now I know you're saying there are thousands of videos on YouTube on how to make cornhole boards. What separates your cornhole boards from everybody else's? Absolutely nothing, but my cornhole boards we're making this week are for charity. And I do that a lot. I've made quite a few boards and I like to donate them to a good cause to help raise money for different events. So this week's charity is called Growing Love. You can get on Facebook, you can look them up, Growing Love. They have some links on there kind of explain what they're doing. And what's really cool about this charity and what makes it so special to me, it's my daughter's mission that she does in Honduras. She's been down there for about 8 years as a missionary. And she's coming home this week to see her. She only comes home once a year to kind of raise some money and stuff to help the mission that she's working on down there. And they're having a big fundraising event in the local community up here. And what we're going to do is make some cornhole boards to raffle them off or auction them off to raise money for this. So I'm going to show you some easy ways that I make my cornhole boards. They're fun and anyone can do this. So it's not a tough project. And also along the way, I hope to be sharing some videos of what she's doing there in Honduras. Growing Love is pretty cool. A couple of things they've done so far, and among the many things they've done is they've brought a doctor up to help teach local people some basic first aid needs to help people when they get injured so they don't have to wait or not make it to the hospital in time. Some basic first aid really helps a lot in communities. Also, the most recent project and the biggest project they've been working on is they built a computer lab in a local school down there. Now these kids have never seen computers, a lot of them have never had an opportunity to get on a computer, which is, you know, you take that for advantage here in America because everybody has a computer. I mean, we hold them in our hands half the time. So this is really cool to see the kids' faces light up when they get these computer lab put together, and the community really came together and built tables to put the computers on and stuff. So I'm gonna be sharing some videos of this as we go along about some different things they've done there. Really get a chance, hop over to Facebook and look that up, Growing Love, and really get a good feedback for what's going on there in Honduras. So let's get back to what we need for supplies for our cornhole boards. So what you're going to need to do is, and the way I do it for if I'm trying to put a project together quick like I am this week because I've been procrastinating to get these done, is I run the Lowe's and I get the 1/2-inch birch plywood. It's already cut 2x4 because that's the size you need for a cornhole board. And I get 2 1x4x8s per board, right? So I need 2 sheets of the plywood and I need 4 1x4 boards, 8-footers, to get everything we need to put the boards together. You also need 2 carriage bolts, 2.5 inches long, with a lock nut on the end of them, which helps put the legs on there, and we'll show you that. All together for supplies, we're about $110 into this for what we need to do. And here's a couple boards I made for my son this Christmas. And what's cool about cornhole boards, you can customize them however you want. You can make them all different ways. But what I like to hand paint a lot of my boards, as you can see here. I put a little graphic design on there, and then you can buy the stickers online. This one here was a full graphic that I stuck on here. And they're really easy, and when you make them out of 1x4s, they're lightweight and they're still sturdy. You don't need to make them out of big heavy 2x4s like some guys do on there. Again, that's just preference. You got the legs that kick out here, and you can see the little carriage bolts on the side there, and they fall right back down. And what I like about, they're super light. I mean, to throw them in the back of your car and take to the beach or something one week or whatever you want to do on the weekends. So, so we're going to kind of go over that. So while we're doing that, though, when I get the tools ready to put this together, let me show you a video of the local school they did in the computer lab they put together. So bear with me as I get the tools ready. Enjoy the show. All right, guys, so we got our boards cut, our sides and our ends. These were 4 foot. And when I do them, I go the whole length. So then my end caps are 22.5 inches, pretty close. You're gonna wanna measure it to make sure, want a nice tight fit on there so it's really good all the way around. Now, one thing I like to do, and this is just my preference, I find it a little bit easier when I'm drilling the holes. So I get these all lined up right where I want them to be at, so they're flush all the way around. And then I just run a line really light with a pencil on the inside. And what that helps me do is when I get ready to drill my holes, lets me center them in the board so I'm not too off to one side. Okay, so I just got a little, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there's just a little line all the way around here where that came through for the drilling. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take and set these up here. And this is the tricky part because they'll probably fall down 1,000 times. So bear with me as I get these set up. All right, so what I like to do is mark where I'm going to drill my holes. I like them to be evenly spaced all the way around the board. So I start out in the center, and right at the 2 foot mark, I put a little mark. At the 1 foot mark, I put a mark. And at the 3 foot mark, put a little mark. Then I come in 2 inches on each side, put a mark there, and a mark there. So those will be where our holes are drilled. Now when I do this, I always try to keep these lined up. Now, sometimes your boards, your 1x4s will give you a little bow or something. So I start with the center. Make sure that it's flush along the edge. And then what you can do is once you get the center flush, you go to this end, make sure it's flush, and this end, and then do your 2 center ones. So let's get the first hole here drilled. And this is that Craig system. Has a little drill bit on the countersink on the other side. Screws, little head like that on them. So we got that one in. Now, this side, make sure it's perfectly flush along the edge there. Grab another screw. You don't have to go too deep. You just want to get enough so the head's covered of the screw, and you can get some putty on there so when you sand it down. Now sometimes you got to pull this out a little bit to make sure it's flush and the hole gets in there good. This is where how sometimes the ends will be warped. And it doesn't take much to drill through that. Okay, so to do your hole, you're going to go 9 inches down, 12 inches over, mark an X, and that's where your center is. I use a 6-inch hole saw to do that, and so that's how I did this one. Let's jump to the other board, and we'll get that one done now. All right, I got some 180 grit. Pads are for the wrong size thing, but we're gonna sand this down smooth, and then we'll fill the holes in and come back. So you don't want to put a lot of pressure on one edge or the other. You'll groove the board. Just keep it flat, the orbital, and just kind of go over it real good. You see I'm taking the pencil mark off. I like to feel real smooth. We'll go over it with 600, then we'll get a little bit finer. I'll show you how I do the hole, because we don't want sharp edges when you're reaching down to get your bag out, cutting or getting splinters, so I'll show you how to do that. You don't want to put an edge on it. You don't want to round it or router it. You want it to be a cut, because the way the bags work. So we just want to make it so you're not getting a splinter in there and stuff. And if you decide to paint the inside of your hole, or you got to at least put polyurethane in there or whatever you're going to finish you're going to put on it, you're going to want to make it smooth like mine here, so that you can, it's still smooth, so you're not getting cut or anything like that. So what I do is just take this and just do the hole by hand. Get down underneath the bottom edge. You just don't want someone getting a splinter going in there when they're getting their bag out. You'd be like, what kind of cornhole board do you make? Because that hole saw does do a rough. And then what I'll do is flip it over to the back side. See how the splinters from where the drill cut through? We just want it smooth so you're not getting your hand cut. We don't want anyone getting hurt. Okay, I'm going to sand the rest of this board, and then I'll sand this board, and we'll come back and I'll show you how I fill the holes. Alright, so what I'm doing is filling all the holes with this wood filler. Make sure you get in there good. Push it right down in there. Don't be afraid to lob it in there. Alright, finish that up. Okay, so now we're to the legs as we're letting the wood fill dry. So what we need to do is that last 1x4x8 you have, you're going to cut it up. You're going to cut 4 legs that are 13 inches long. And what I do is then I take, and you can see that little X there, 1 3/4 inch down, 1 3/4 inch over, and that's the hole. And that you want to be on the inside, right? And you set that right in the board, in the cornhole board, just like that, right in there tight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drill through that board to get yourself a hole. Now, once you get that hole, you're good, you're all lined up. So I'll take this one off and show you. Then what I did was I took it over to my miter saw and I just cut an angle on each side, a little bit off the end. So when you come back over here, make sure you mark on here left or right so you know which side the leg goes on. Okay, so we got that on there. We cut the angles off. They don't need to be pretty, like I said. They're going to be hidden underneath the board, just so they swing down. Just going to tap that in there so that carrot head gets in there pretty good. And then we're just going to tighten it up. Okay, tighten the other side, and then we'll show you how to cut the angles on here. Alrighty, so here we go. We got the legs bolted on. They're pulled back as far as they can go, so we know we got them fully extended. Now we have to just draw a line right here across the top of this table, which will give us 12 inches. So from the top of here to the bottom of the ground should be 12 inches. So pretty right on right there. So we're looking good. Okay, so once we got the legs reinstalled, we're going to take this and I move the legs all the way up and draw a line where they hit and come up back and drop down an inch to put this on, this brace. So we're going to put this brace on. And there we go. Let's move the table out of the way. Got some sanding left to do, but our cornhole board is done. So we'll do some sanding, then we'll get the get some paint out, and we'll start working on the graphic. All right, guys, so I got the boards painted this morning, let them dry. Now we're going to try to put the logo. I got my laptop here hooked up with the projector, and we're projecting this onto the cornhole board. And I think I got it set up pretty much where I want the logo to be. Now we got to attempt this to make it look like some kindergartner just didn't do this. So bear with me as I try to figure out how I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to use a pencil and trace it first with a pencil, then come back and paint it and try to stay in the lines. I really don't want this to look like a kindergartner did this. So let me see what I can do. Okay, so this is the paint scheme that we decided to do with this one board. So anything that has the blue tape will stay white. Anything that doesn't, we will paint different colors. So I have the 3 shades from their logo, Growing Loves logo, and I think what we're going to do is dark green on the 2 outside, and then the light green on the inside, and then gray around the edges, or gray on the outside, light green on the inside, and dark green around the outside, seeing how if you're playing with it in grass and stuff. So I just got to figure out the color scheme, how I'm going to lay it out. I'm thinking that's kind of the way it's going to be. The other board, I'm trying to do their logo on it. So as soon as I get that figured out, then I'll share that with you. But so far, this is what we've got. So I'm going to start painting this, then we'll see what it comes out with. Okay, so on this one here, I traced it with the projector and put the blue tape on it, then kind of cut it out. I'm kind of concerned because I used a black matte Sharpie to kind of put the lines on, and I don't know if I cut them back far enough, so we may have to touch up just some white there when we do that. So we'll see how that comes out with their logo. But so on this board here, I decided to go the light green on the outside. We'll do gray in the middle and dark green around the edges. And on this one here, we're just going to do the logo with the dark green all the way around the edges, and then the dark green on the bottom. The gray is a heart. So we'll see how they come out. Hopefully they don't look like a kindergarten made them. Okay guys, so I got them painted. We'll see how this one comes out when we take the tape off. I'm hoping it'll come out all right. But this is the logo one. And let me go over here to this one. This is just the other one that I just did straight stripes. So we'll see what happens when we get ready to pull the paint off. I just gotta pull the tape off. I just gotta let the paint dry a little bit. Then underneath the lines will be the white thing. I'm gonna touch up this circle. Might just do the green all the way around the inside. I was gonna leave it white. We'll see. See how it looks when the tape comes off. How clean the lines are. And then again, there's the other one. All right, so let me let the paint dry, and we'll be back to take the tape off. Okay, let's start taking the tape off. See how it goes. We'll start with the edges first. I like to use flat paint because when I clear it with polyurethane or urethane, spar urethane, it should clean up pretty good. Okay, let's see what the heart looks like. We'll touch up here with the white. Not the greatest at all. See if we can't clean it up a little bit. Little bit of touching up. Yeah. Yep. I think we can get it with that little brush I had. So I apologize for the way the ending of this jumps around. You'll see in the video, I'll show you how I use the projector to kind of get the heart shape going. And then what I did was I kind of modified it to my own theory and taped it off, cut a razor blade to cut it, and kind of painted the scenes there. And you kind of saw that when I was jumping back and forth. But this was probably the most difficult board I ever did with a graphic and tape as I was hand painting it. I didn't have time to order a graphic for it or to get someone to make me the graphic. So this is what it ended up being. The other one was easy. I just once I figured out what the layout was going to be and how the tape was, and kind of progressed as I was doing it and did some different things with it. But I think they both came out pretty good. I like the results, the end results of them. So we'll see what people think when they go to bid on them, or however she's going to auction them off or raffle them off, or however she's doing them. So hopefully they raise money. That was the whole purpose of this build, was to raise money for Growing Love. So thanks again for watching this week. Sorry about how I jumped back and forth. These were really difficult on trying to figure out the patterns and the colors, but in the end I think they came out pretty good from what they are. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on what your thoughts are of these boards, or what you might have done different in the graphics, or if you like them or not. And also get a chance, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can go see Growing Love. Check out their Facebook page and kind of see what they're doing. I am going to pop a video here after this on the very tail end of a video of my daughter talking about how she raised the monies for the computer, and what they're doing for the school, so you can kind of see that. You can also see both videos that I have posted on their Facebook page too. So if you want to check out that link, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, it was a fun project. A little stressful at the end trying to figure out the paint scheme, but it was challenging, and that's what I like to do, is challenge myself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video this week. Thanks again.
Hey everyone, we want to give a huge shout out to everyone who donated towards the school's computer lab. We've been able to bring 3 desktops so far. If you would like to be a part of us being able to bring more computers to the school's first computer lab, you can use the link in below or the link in our bio. Thank you so much.